Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Yeah,
John.
Jon Jones.
Yeah, buddy. It's John. It's Jim and Matt. How are you?
What's up, Jon Jones?
Oh, what's up, Matt, Sarah, Jim Norton? How are you guys?
Good,
to
man.
be on the
How's
show.
everything? We haven't talked to you in a long time.
Great. Are we live or is this recorded?
Yeah, it's recorded. It's a podcast. It comes out. People are hearing this on Tuesday. We're speaking on Mondays. It'll be out by tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Cool.
The last time we talked to you, John, it was in the lobby of the hotel in Vegas. We bumped into you at 200, and we asked Daniel the same thing. What when you found out? Okay, hey, look, this test came back. How did you find out? Did Dana call you, or did he talk to somebody else and they told you?
So I was in the hotel room with my wife, and we were just relaxing, getting ready to get our night workout in. And Malky called when my manager called me. So, John, come here, I need to talk to you. And I could hear it in his voice that it was something serious. And I go over to his room, which was right next door to mine. And he said, "You're not fighting, bro." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, you didn't pass your test." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I'm not really sure, but supposedly you had some type of supplements in you, estrogen blockers or something like that." And there were some big name words and stuff that I had never heard before. And he said, "You're not fighting." And right away my heart dropped, dude. And I literally felt the weight of every UFC fan on my shoulders. It was one of the most intense feelings I've ever went through. Had an anxiety attack actually at that moment. And it was. I felt like I was drowning, dude. It was a weird feeling. It was a scary feeling.
Yeah, you looked when we saw you. You looked a little shell shocked. We saw you on that Saturday morning, and you looked a little bit like you were still in a bit of disbelief that this whole thing had happened.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I had to get like security to like help me leave the hotel room, dude. There were so many fans that were so pissed off that I felt like my life was in danger just trying to get out of the casino.
Well, their lives are in danger if they tried to fuck with you. Nah, I hear you.
Oh yeah, well, it wouldn't be bad.
I
I wish a motherfucker would. At the end of
And how long before that fight are those tests taken? Like, is that taken the day before? Or how long before that do they even take those?
Oh man, it's a little bit of a blur. I felt like the test was maybe taken 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the event, but the results came just about 2 or 3 days before the fight.
Oh, okay. I always think they should do that a little bit faster, a little bit of a faster turnaround. And obviously, you fought, over St. Peru. And that's the only guy you fought in 2.5 years. And how does that play on your mentality going into this?
I feel good. I'm glad that I fought over in St. Peru because there was slight hesitation in that fight, and I chalk it up to a lot of different things. I felt like over in St. Peru had nothing to lose, and I felt like I was the guy who was majorly expected to dominate. It was my first time fighting a guy who was ranked 8th when, since I was the 23-year-old kid, I had been always fighting the guy who was ranked number 1.
Right.
And so, and not only that, but, watching Ovens' highlights, studying him last minute, I realized that a lot of his knockouts weren't proper knockouts. It was a guy winging for the fences and things going his way. And I was afraid to have a situation, I'm going to relate it to you and GSP, man. You swung for the fences and look what happened to George. And I didn't want that to happen to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I fought smart and I won by a one-sided unanimous decision, but in a lot of people's minds, that wasn't good enough.
Well, now on the Joe Rogan podcast, you were talking about that saying that was your worst performance, but you were, and unlike most of the the rest of your career, you didn't go out to party the weekend before that fight. Does that get in your head at all? Like, shit, man, that was my worst performance, and I didn't do my normal party, and fuck it, should I go out and party before this one?
It crossed my mind. It crossed my mind whether I was messing with my what made me,
Sure.
and I decided that was a weak way of thinking. That I shouldn't use any crutch. That I should just believe in being great and attempting, daring to be great, and really giving myself a honest chance to perform at a high level. Someone told me, John, lose those thoughts of you need to be a wild boy in order to perform at a high level. Like, and I've lost those thoughts. And like I said, I just chalk it up to the pressure, the expectations, and really, fighting a guy who had everything to gain and nothing to lose. That's usually when the favorite, gets surprised.
Yeah, it's a guy who has his sights so much more set on you than you had on him until very recently.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and him and his coaches' world, beating Jon Jones one day. Not to sound full of myself, I mean that means a lot to a lot of people out there. There's a small kid right now hoping to beat me one day, and for me, Open St. Preux was never even on my radar. I had never even paid attention to any of his fights until just last minute replacement happened.
Are you concerned at all with any? I mean, fighters always say they're not, and I've heard it exists and it doesn't exist. Are you concerned with any ring rust? I know you've been training, and you certainly haven't just been sitting around. But it's been a while since you've had a fight of this caliber.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with ring rust. I feel like with Ovin's situation, like I said, he was getting all these. He was knocking people out, throwing punches up, like on one leg and one foot, backing up and winging punches and getting knockouts. That made me respect him because of his unorthodox knockout ability. Where with DC, it's like DC is not a knockout artist, and I feel like I'm getting sidetracked answering this question. I'm not concerned with ring rust. To answer your question, I'm not concerned with ring rust at all. I'm very prepared for this fight. This is my first rematch. I beat DC once before, and my psychology going into this fight is to expect more out of myself. Now that I know that I can beat him, now I'm looking to finish him. I feel like the last 2 years, DC has gone farther away from his prime, where I just turned 30 on the 19th, and I feel like I'm stepping into my prime.
And do I'm guessing you've seen his Rumble fights and against Gustafsson. Do you think he is an improved fighter at all since he fought you?
No, I haven't seen any new techniques at all. I mean, Rumble Johnson is notorious for getting caught in the rear naked choke. I'm sure he rehearsed that a lot going into the fight. But outside of that, his striking, everything, I feel like it's exactly the same.
Now, as a fighter, Jon, like I've been in the game forever, and when I get along with most of the guys I'm fighting, I'd still, it's a fight, and I try not to fight emotional. Nobody wants to do that. But I did find when I was getting ready for a fight with a guy on the rare occasion that I did not like, that I had some beef with, that I fucking I just didn't like the guy. It definitely helped in my preparation for the fight. Like, I'm like, I can't wait to smack this motherfucker. Like, how do you feel compared to fighting your past opponents? I mean, tough guys. Compared to fighting a guy like DC that you guys literally don't like each other.
I feel like it gives me added motivation, especially at this point in my career. I'm a young guy, but I feel like I've beaten so many legends and I've beaten the who's already. And sometimes you have to find little things to make you get up one more time. And in DC, his hatred for me and how much this fight means to him, it makes the fight mean a little bit more to me as well. But at the same time, I fought guys like Leona Machida, who was so respectful before the fight, and or Shogun, who was so respectful before the fight, and I went out there and won. So I get a little extra motivation from people who hates me and is trying to do the things that DC is trying to do to my image or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm a competitor, and I'm a guy who practices at a high level, and I'm a guy who performs when the lights are on at a high level. So I don't really. I think I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what I do, regardless of what's happening before the fight.
And obviously you're looking to this fight. I mean, it's in 5 days. This is what you're concentrating on. But there's also been speculation. People have talked about you someday possibly moving up to heavyweight. Is that something that you've even in a peripheral way considered or thought about, or is appealing?
Yeah, I would love to become a two-weight class champion. I think it's going to happen eventually. I just want to wait until I find the perfect matchup. I want to find a guy who is a champion and he only weighs about 235. And back when Kane was the champion, he was a guy that I'm no idiot, dude. You get a really talented big guy versus a really talented small guy. The small guy is at a major disadvantage.
Sure.
And right now, Stipe has been doing great in the heavyweight division. And I hope I'm not coming across as a pussy because I'm not.
No, it's honest.
By any means. But I just rather fight somebody who I feel stylistically would just be a much better matchup, especially because I would be sacrificing 30, 40 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at McGregor, he fought at 45 and 55. I mean, I beat guys who's 10 pounds heavier than me, asses all day long. But when you talk about a guy who has 40 pounds of muscle on you and he's a talented athlete, I just want to be smart about the time I step out of my lane and challenge somebody else.
No, that's not a pussy. That's a really honest way to answer the question, because I think you'd be dumb if you didn't think that way. Like, that's a huge amount of weight to give away. Like you said, that's, you know, if it's a 35, 40 pound jump, you know, I mean, who wants to give that away to a guy who is a legitimate champion?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 100%.
And you mentioned Conor too. He has fought. I mean, they took the one belt from him, and now he's fighting Floyd. I mean, his rise took place a lot of when you were not there.
Yeah.
What do you think about somebody fighting outside of the actual sport? I mean, as far as their chances.
I think it's beautiful, man. I think it's great for the sport. I mean, boxing has a 100-year-old tradition. They're over 100 years old, boxing. Way over 100 years old, actually. So they have old school money. They got old school fans, that long money, long fans. Where UFC, we're just over 20 years old. So I feel like it's so great for both of us. It's great to rejuvenate boxing because in Floyd's absence, their sport's a little more dull. And in our sport, it's just so new. We're not even really, truly mainstream yet. So I think it helps boxing get more light, rejuvenate them, and it helps us get more awareness. So this is just a purely entertaining fight for all of combat sports. It's great for all of combat sports, no matter who wins the fight. But if you're asking me who I believe is going to win the fight, I'm a fan of greatness. I'm a fan of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, freaking all the great Michael Phelps. I'm a fan of people who do things that are abnormal. Sure. And stand undefeated for freaking 49 fights. Yeah. That's abnormal. And I'm blessed to be alive during his era to be able to witness this level of greatness. And I'm a fan of greatness. So I'm imagining that his record is not a coincidence and he's going to do it again. I mean, for him to lose to an MMA puncher, I mean, it would just be so meant to be if that were to happen.
And I think Conor's at such a big disadvantage too, because he's actually fighting his instincts to shoot for a takedown or to drive a knee or to throw a kick. There's so many things he has to be aware of that he would normally do that he can't now do.
Well, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think he has strapped up the boxing boots enough to know that he can't elbow and all this type of stuff. If anything, he may want to do instinctually that he won't be able to do is clinch. Because I doubt a boxing referee will allow an MMA fighter to come into his arena and to rough up Floyd Mayweather, the king of boxing,
right,
and allow all that dirty boxing to go on. I think him getting broken up and not able to use his strength and size, him getting broken up fast, and I think that's going to be something that throws him off because he's used to being able to clinch. But I mean, come on, dude. Conor likes to pull back when you throw your right, and he counters with the straight left. Floyd Mayweather's been seeing those tricks since he was fucking 12 years old. Yeah. It's just very unlikely for Conor to win. But I do respect Conor tremendously. I hope I'm not coming across as someone who is not rooting for him or happy for him. No. I think what he's done for our sport is unbelievable. What he's done for me personally, he's shown me that the money can be made with the right attitude. It's there to be made, because I never thought in my lifetime I would see a UFC fighter having 70, 50, whatever he's making, $1 million payday. I mean, that's inspiring to me.
Yeah, and it is. It's fun to hear these guys kind of yell at each other, because I'm thinking to myself, they really probably don't dislike each other. I mean, they're very similar guys. They're both great at what they do. They both love flashy stuff. You ever see Conor's? What does he have? Like a fucking. He's got some car with his picture on the side of it. You know what I mean? I mean, him and Mayweather are very similar guys, and they're both making a tremendous amount of money. I think there's very little pressure on Conor for this, because Floyd's actually putting his legacy up against a guy who's never fought a professional fight before.
100%. No one expects Conor McGregor to win. Conor's in a very, very sweet spot, man. Everything to gain, zero to lose and a shit ton of money to be made. It's like, yeah, he's in a beautiful spot. I mean, if I was him, I mean, you could act as goofy as you want to act because, I mean, all you need to do is get one more viewer.
And not only that, he has 0 to lose because no matter what happens in that boxing match, he knows he can kick his ass in a real fight. So what the hell does he have to worry about?
And that's pretty badass too, right? To ultimately
Exactly.
know, dude, I would fucking, oh my goodness, it would be so nasty. I wouldn't even want to see. I would not pay to see Mayweather versus McGregor in the octagon. It'd be disgusting.
Exactly. Exactly.
No one would sanction that.
Not at all.
Hey, how is life in general for you? Like, have you went through these turbulent times and stuff, and now you're fighting again. Have things settled down, and you're like kind of what you would feel is on the right track, and not doing anything that might be considered destructive?
Man, you know what? To be real with you guys, man, and I don't think people really see it, and they don't see it this way, and I don't think it's because the truth of the matter is, man, my hit and run car accident was 2 years ago, and ultimately, UFC 200, I took a pill that I was planning on fucking with. That was it. That was it, right? I wasn't out freaking doing something crazy and hammered and high on drugs. Dude, the last time I got in real trouble, that was 2 years ago, man. I've grown so much as a man and as a person since that shit. Unfortunately, UFC 200, the word steroid got connected to it, and now I have DC that's trying to convince the world that's why he lost. I mean, I gave him such a gift by him being able to accuse me of doing steroids. When the fact of the matter is, USADA themselves, the most powerful drug testing agency in the world, came out and said Jon Jones is not a drug chief. He is guilty of negligence and taking a pill without actually knowing what was in it and having estrogen blockers. Never once have I had high testosterone levels. I'm a big advocate of being a clean athlete. Dan Gable's quote was, "When I know an athlete has done steroids, I knew I can beat him because he doesn't have what it takes to earn the victory." My wins come from within, dude. I've been tall and skinny. My nickname is Bones. But anyways.
Hey, listen.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Jon Jones. I want to defend you because I literally, and I'm on TRT. I'm retired, so I have no problem with my cock, and I love a good cock pill once in a while.
Absolutely.
I'm going on record saying that. I don't give a fuck, Jim Norton.
Dude, I've taken more Cialis. I'm older than both of you guys. I've been taking Cialis. I went to Brazil. I was doing 100 milligrams a night. It was ugly.
We like the
I love it.
Check this out. This is the thing about that shit. You'd be surprised how many motherfuckers are doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
My whole thing is that, my shit's public, man. But I'm at a point now where I don't give a fuck what no one thinks about me. I know the truth. I think real motherfuckers know the truth, too, at the end of the day. But it's easier to blame my success on steroids. So have at it. Have at it. Because every light heavyweight who fucking says that I've done steroids is just a pussy and a coward. And they can't accept the fact that I'm just fucking better.
Dude, this is... I can't tell you how pumped... Yeah. I am, and I know Matt is, and anybody who's a UFC fan is so pumped for this fight. It's going to be very interesting to see, and we hope you have a great fight, man. We like you so much, and I'm happy that you're fighting again, and that everything is behind you, and it's just great for the sport, and we're happy for you personally.
Hey, thank you guys. It sounds like you're trying to wrap me up. So
well, no, they wrapped. Chris said we have 2 minutes left. Is that John's people or us? We'll keep talking. We love Jon Jones.
We'll keep talking to him.
Oh,
no. It's
John's like, it's good.
No, actually, Dave Lockett's looking at me. Head of PR over here is looking at me. Is like, no, actually, you should get off the phone.
Okay.
Because you're talking way too much, John. Anyways, good times, man. I'm glad I can be real with you, real motherfuckers, and have a great.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, UFC 214. Good luck, buddy, okay?
Later, John.
All right.
Good luck.
Later, guys.
Bye, John.
Thank